Hello guys, welcome back to our anime moment. Guys, please like the video and subscribe to my channel. Today is explanation of Renegade Immortal episode number 401 based on novel. So let's start. Wang Lin's eyes shined brightly as he looked at Dao Master Blue Dream. Dao Master Blue Dream floated in the air, and with one step, he arrived at the top of the mountain. His hands were behind his back as he looked at the blue light behind him while waiting for Wang Lin's replay. The mountain wind caused his blue hair to flow in the wind, and his body gave off a gentle pressure. As he stood at the top of the mountain seemed to disappear. As he stood on this cultivation planet, the cultivation planet seemed to disappear. As he stood in this world, even the world seemed to bow down. Everything lowered their heads before Dao Master Blue Dream. When he stood among the stars, all the starlight had to avoid him. Wherever he was the mountain, the sky, and the stars. Most of my spells are self-created. There are 9 spells, 6 celestial spells, 3 Dao spells, and 1 life and death spell. I can pass them all to you. Are you willing to learn? Wang Lin remained silent. I have the Joss flames of more than 200 billion disciples, and my comprehension of the void realm. Do you want them? Wang Lin's breathing became a bit rough as he looked at Dao Master Blue Dream, but he still didn't speak. I also have 5 Dao treasures refined by outer world meteorites. Even the sovereign fears them. With 5 Dao treasure, the world would be torn apart. Do you want them? Wang Lin's eyes lit up and his breathing became even heavier. I also have a 3rd step Dao inheritance that I haven't passed on to anyone. Do you want it? I can also take you on a trip through the ancient star system and get Dao spirits from the other 4 masters so you can obtain the most powerful spells. I can break the void for you and take you to the legendary ancient order cemetery. That will help you absorb the ancient souls and let your ancient god body reach completion. There are 5 essences in your body and you have amazing talent. I have never heard of anyone who can create 5 essences. I can help each of your essences reach completion, and when you inherit my Dao, you will have 7 essences. Dao Master Blue Dream's voice was calm. His gaze fell on Wang Lin and he slowly said, "Do you want all of this?" Wang Lin's eyes were bloodshot as he stared at Dao Master Blue Dream. The message being conveyed in these words was heaven-shattering. How could Wang Lin not be tempted? He was extremely tempted. You must have become aware of the danger outside the Blue Silk clan. That woman has a powerful backing, but if you become my inheritor, I'll carry all the danger for you. Think about it. Conditions. Wang Lin's voice was hoarse. Dao Master Blue Dream's words were like thunder in his mind. Dao Master Blue Dream's expression remained neutral as he met Wang Lin's gaze and gently said, "The conditions are very simple, there are only 2. From now on, you will no longer be a person from the inner realm, but a member of my ancient star system, the Blue Silk clan's young master. Take the heart-forgetting fruit and set an essence oath to leave the inner realm behind. Your body, your heart, your everything will no longer be connected to the inner realm. You cannot participate in the battle between the inner and outer realms, and you can't help the inner realm ever again." Dao Master Blue Dream's words were like knives that charged into Wang Lin's body and caused his body to tremble. 2. I don't care what relationships you have in the inner realm. All of it will be cut off. I only have 1 daughter. You and her can become a cultivation pair and you may only have her. Wang Lin closed his eyes. Dao Master Blue Dream's temptation was the greatest one he had faced in his life. If the conditions were changed, Wang Lin would have been very tempted and he would have very likely accepted it. However, how could he agree to Dao Master Blue Dream's 2 conditions? He was a member of the inner realm, he was born in the inner realm and had grown up in the inner realm. If the inner realm was a country, then he would be a traitor if he agreed. The words of the celestials that died to the sealed realm formation echoed in his ears. The sacrifice of the Lord of the sealed realm echoed in his mind. He couldn't accept the 1st condition, let alone the 2nd condition. Giving up Li Muwen was like giving up his Dao, his pursuit in life, and his promise. He must not accept this. He opened his eyes. Wang Lin's eyes were bloodshot as he said, "I don't want to learn." There was a flash of coldness in Dao Master Blue Dream's eyes as he stared at Wang Lin. What Wang Lin didn't know was that many years ago, Qing Lin had also faced this great temptation. Except Qing Lin was tempted by the sovereign, while Wang Lin was facing Dao Master Blue Dream. Wang Lin lowered his head and softly said, "Senior's cultivation is indeed powerful, but Junior wants to ask if Senior has someone more important than yourself." Dao Master Blue Dream pondered for a moment and then slowly said, "There is. If Senior was me and you had to give up that important person for a power, would Senior agree?" Wang Lin raised his head and looked at Dao Master Blue Dream. In addition, if Senior had to give up the entire Blue Silk clan, would Senior agree? Dao Master Blue Dream didn't answer this question. Instead, after silently pondering for a bit, he silently said, "The third step of cultivation is called the Four Void Realms. The first is Nirvana Void. Spirit Void is considered the threshold, Arcana Void is considered the Grand Tao, and Void Turbulent is the peak. Since ancient times, I have only heard of people reaching the peak of Void Turbulent, but never of anyone who was able to successfully reach that legendary fourth step, Heaven Trampling. Even the 8 Imperial concubines haven't reached that step." Dao Master Blue Dream withdrew his gaze from Wang Lin and slowly spoke as he looked into the distant horizon. "I have 2 essences in my body. One of them is at the mid-stage of Arcane Void and the other essence is currently sealed, but it is infinitely close to the early stage of Void Turbulent. When the 2 fuse, I can display power at the peak of the Arcane Void stage. Do you know how many people like me exist here in the Outer Realm?" Dao Master Blue Dream asked calmly. "Not counting the ancient Imperial concubines, there are at least 7 people. Your inner realm doesn't have Joss flames, and it has been trapped by the sealed realm formation for countless years. The sovereign is also known for his schemes, and he almost caused your inner realm to fall apart. What's the use of you clinging to a lost cause?" When Dao Master Blue Dream's words entered Wang Lin's ears, he became silent. After a long time, Wang Lin raised his head and looked at Dao Master Blue Dream. He calmly said, "If what Senior says is true, then why hasn't the Outer Realm begun a war against the Inner Realm? Why are they relying on slowly withering the forces in the Inner Realm instead? I fear there is something in the Inner Realm that Senior and the others are extremely worried about." Dao Master Blue Dream silently pondered for a moment before calmly saying, "There is indeed such an existence. Back then, just one roar had the power to force the sovereign to flee in panic." Wang Lin's mind was shaken. It was only a guess, but he didn't expect to hear such a secret from Dao Master Blue Dream. "Since you have already made up your mind, I won't force you. You've brought you here, so while I can't give you my Dao teaching and Joss flames, I can teach you 3 spells. How much you understand will depend on yourself." Dao Master Blue Dream let out a sigh. He liked Wang Lin, and everything he had said was true, but there were some things that couldn't be forced. As one of the 5 masters of the ancient star system and a third-step cultivator, he had his own pride. He didn't want to force others. "Watch carefully, this is my first spell." Dao Master Blue Dream raised his right hand and reached at the sky. The wind roared and clouds churned. The whole sky became filled with endless, blue light and a giant vortex appeared. As the vortex rumbled, origin energy gathered from all directions and quickly formed a giant stamp. This stamp made of origin energy. It looked like the stamp of a mortal emperor. When the stamp fell, the heavens and earth trembled. At this instant, the sky became the earth and the earth became the sky. Heaven and earth were reversed. The mountain Wang Lin was on turned upside down. The earth became the sky and became a giant cone hanging from the sky. However, what was bizarre was that no stones fell, and it was merely just something Wang Lin was feeling. However, his mind was shaking as an indescribable force had filled the world. Below him was a sky filled with blue light. The clouds and sun were all reversed, and only Dao Master Blue Dream was still standing. This spell is called the Heaven Reversal Stamp. What is Heaven Reversal? In my opinion, it is to flip the sky to become the earth. The earth that became the sky will become the strongest stamp. Dao Master Blue Dream waved his right hand and the earth that had turned into the sky smashed down toward the sky. Wang Lin's mind trembled as he looked at this and revealed a look of disbelief. He would have never thought that such a spell could exist in the world. This spell was extremely strong, and if used in space, it could slaughter all life. If you want to use it in space, you will need to contain a world in your heart. Dao Master Blue Dream lifted his right hand, and time seemed to reverse. Everything returned back to normal in an instant. The sky was still the sky and the earth was still the earth. What is the most abundant in space? It's not people, not spirits, not spells, and not origin energy. In my opinion, it is light. The most abundant thing in this world is light. Light is everywhere, and there is no place without light. The Heaven Reversal Stamp is an attack spell, and my second spell is a defensive spell. Look carefully. Dao Master Blue Dream didn't give Wang Lin time to digest before he raised his right hand once more. The moment he raised his right hand, everything in the world gave off endless light. There was even bright light coming from space far away. This endless light instantly arrived, looking heaven-shaking while it surrounded Dao Master Blue Dream. At this moment, he seemed to become the source of all light in the world. Even Wang Lin felt like he couldn't open his eyes due to the pain. A giant shadow appeared around Dao Master Blue Dream. It was as tall as the heavens. Although this spell isn't a Dao spell, it is something I comprehended when I reached the Spirit Void stage. If you can learn this, you will have the ability to protect yourself in the ancient star system. As for the last spell I'll teach you, it is one that I comprehended at the peak of the Spirit Void stage, one of my 3 great spells. The first spell Dao Master Blue Dream displayed was an extremely powerful offensive spell. The second spell, Light and Shadow Shield, was the peak of defense. When these 2 spells appeared, the world would change colors. Wang Lin hadn't completely comprehended the Heaven Reversal Stamp, and now he was immersed in this Light and Shadow Shield. His mind constantly alternated between these 2 different spells. Look closely, the third spell I'll teach you is Dao Fusion. This is not an attack or defense spell, but a Dao spell that fuses your spell with your essence in a special way. If you can learn this spell, you can fuse all your spells and make them into tens of millions of different ones, or all fused into one. Dao Master Blue Dream's voice was calm. After displaying the Heaven Reversal Stamp and the Light and Shadow Shield, he didn't put down his right hand. Instead, his right hand formed a bizarre seal and he pointed at the void. One of the clouds that had been pushed away quickly flew over and surrounded his fingertip. It turned into a ball of fog and began to rotate rapidly. As it rotated faster and faster, the fog instantly disappeared and turned into white water vapor. The water vapor also rotated and formed a vortex. However, the vortex quickly changed once more, then it turned into a glittering drop of water above Dao Master Blue Dream's fingertip and then started rotating even faster. When Wang Lin's eyes observed this, it caused him to gain some enlightenment. Just at this moment, the water changed once more. Crackling sounds echoed and the water turned into ice crystals. The ice crystals quickly linked together, releasing a crackling sound that was no weaker than the sound of thunder. Soon, an ice sword appeared at the tip of his finger. This sword was 7 feet long and 3 inches wide, emitting an endless chill. When the sunlight shined on it, it gave off a colorful glow. From cloud, to fog, to water, and then ice before finally changing into an ice sword. Wang Lin's mind was shaken in a short period of time, feeling as if he had vaguely grasped something. This fog essence has been changed by this Dao spell. Display 2 spells that need to be fused. Dao Master Blue Dream looked at Wang Lin. Wang Lin didn't hesitate to wave his right hand, and black wind howled across the world. 7 black dragons appeared in the world and blasted out cold air that could extinguish all life. Oh! One of Celestial Emperor Bai Fan's 6 spells, called the Wind. Although it is not a Dao spell, if it is cultivated to the peak, it is still quite powerful. Dao Master Blue Dream was astonished. After Call the Wind was finished, Wang Lin didn't pause before his right hand formed a seal and he pointed at the 7 black dragons. The 7 black dragons let out earth-shattering roar that spread out. As thunderous rumbles echoed, there was a flash of light and raindrops appeared out of nowhere. Bai Fan summoned the rain. Dao Master Blue Dream frowned. He didn't expect Wang Lin to be able to actually cast these two spells. He had heard of the name, Bai Fan, before. He was the ruler of the Thunder Celestial Realm, and his spells were extremely difficult to integrate. This child is indeed clever. He must have realized that I wanted to help him fuse two spells, so he took out his most powerful spells. Dao Master Blue Dream looked at Wang Lin with a smile that wasn't a smile, and his right hand reached at the void. The 7 black dragons suddenly trembled and swirled around each other to form a giant vortex. The vortex absorbed all the raindrops within it. The thunderous rumbles continued to echo. The vortex became larger and larger until it seemed to replace the sky. With my understanding, the purpose of Bai Fan's Call the Wind and Summon the Rain was to cover the sky with Call the Wind and cover the earth with Summon the Rain. Cover the sky and the earth to form a world. The fusion of these two spells should be comparable to the protection of the light and shadow shield. Dao Master Blue Dream waved his right hand and the giant vortex in the sky roared even louder. Then it suddenly began to expand. The sky was covered by the wind and the earth was submerged by rain. There was not trace of light and the earth was not visible at all. There wasn't even any origin energy, it was as if it had been separated from space and formed its own world. This world could be large or small. It could be as big as the universe or as small as yourself, making it a powerful form of protection. As Dao Master Blue Dream waved his right hand, the world trembled and returned back to normal. There was a small, black vortex sphere floating next to the ice sword. Whether you can comprehend the 3 spells will depend on your own fortune. Dao Master Blue Dream took a step forward and turned into blue light. Only his parting words that were like him talking to himself echoed after he disappeared. If she can recover her memory, forget the Blue Silk clan. Even if I become a traitor to the ancient star system, so what? His words were filled with determination, revealing his character and answering Wang Lin's previous question. The surroundings were silent and the world was peaceful. It was as if everything that had happened were merely an illusion, just a memory. Wang Lin didn't notice Dao Master Blue Dream's departure as his eyes were staring at the ice sword and the black vortex sphere. His mind was immersed in what had just happened. The 3 spells Dao Master Blue Dream had displayed rapidly flashed in his mind as he quickly verified and comprehended them. Time passed, 3 days, 7 days, half a month. Unknowingly, 1 month had passed. After 1 month, Wang Lin still sat there motionlessly. His eyes were bloodshot and were filled with confusion. There were huge waves inside his mind, echoing like thunderous rumbles. Wang Lin had been comprehending these 3 great spells. However, these spells contained the world. Even with Dao Master Blue Dream's personal demonstration and explanation, they would be difficult to learn. Heaven Reversal Stamp, to make the sky the earth. Wang Lin closed his eyes as if he was sleeping, but his mind was working like crazy, as if he was deducing a restriction to deduce the changes that occurred in this spell. 1 month, 2 months, 3 months passed. Wang Lin had been sitting on top of the mountain for 4 months. More than 100 nights and days had passed, and it was now the rainy season. The sky was no longer blue but filled with dark clouds. The sky was foggy and rain fell down. The mist made the world look even more hazy. Wang Lin sat there, allowing the rain to hit his body, but he didn't notice anything. Although his eyes were closed, his fatigue had created 2 lines of blood that flowed out like tears and were washed away by the rain. The deduction inside his mind had also reached a peak, making him feel as if he was going to go crazy. On this day, it was nighttime and the rain continued to fall. Lightning sometimes flashed across the sky and lit up the earth. Wang Lin's clothes had long been soaked and his body was trembling. It felt as if the mountain was trembling with him. He suddenly opened his eyes. The moment he opened them, lightning flashed across the sky. While illuminating the earth, it also revealed Wang Lin's eyes to the world. His eyes were completely bloodshot, but deep within his pupils was the reflection of the world. The sky, the lightning, the earth, and all the rain were within his pupils. What was even more strange was that it was all slowly turning. The turning was barely noticeable, but they continued to turn. The earth in his pupils was tilted and was about to completely flip upside down. As the world rotated, Wang Lin's bloodshot eyes stared at the world before him. Under his gaze, this world filled with rain began to twist. It was as if the world outside was syncing up with the world in his eyes, and it began to tilt. Thunder rumbled in the sky and the rain became even more dense. It was as if the clouds had noticed the danger and wanted to release all the rain quickly. However, as the world inside Wang Lin's pupils slowly turned, the rain inside his pupils paused for a moment. The moment the rain paused, the rain in the real world also stopped. At this instant, Wang Lin's eyes shined brightly. He raised his right hand and pressed toward the sky as he said with a hoarse voice, "Heaven reversal." The moment he spoke, the world roared. The world inside Wang Lin's eyes flipped, and the sky became the earth and the earth became the sky. The rain that fell from the sky fell backwards and collapsed. This was what was happening in the world inside his pupils. This was reflected in the real world he was looking at as well. The sky filled with thunder suddenly turned into earth and everything reversed. The rain collapsed, the clouds disintegrated, and the thunder scattered. The earth that replaced the sky rumbled loudly. As Wang Lin lowered his hand, the earth quickly pressed down. If someone looked up at the earth that had replaced the sky, they would see the upside-down ocean, the mortal capitals, and the mortals walking in the rain. They would see the small beasts inside the dense forest and the python galloping through the water. But they seemed to not notice any of this. Wang Lin's eyes lit up. He could clearly feel that once this heaven reversal stamp crushed down, it would contain the power that destroyed the world. It was several times stronger than all his other spells. He waved his right hand. The earth didn't crush down but instantly returned to normal. The sky was still the sky and the earth was still the earth. This isn't the only way to use the heaven reversal stamp. If you treat a person as the world, then their flesh, blood, and skin are the sky and their internal organs are the earth. Reverse those and the lethality of this spell will increase greatly. Wang Lin silently pondered for a moment and suppressed the joy of comprehending this spell. He closed his eyes and began comprehending the second spell. When Wang Lin used the heaven reversal stamp, on Mount Blue, Dao Master Blue Dream's hand on the zither paused for a moment. A person with 5 essences is indeed shocking. He was able to learn the heaven reversal stamp in just 4 months. I thought he would need several years. A majority of the cultivation planets in the Blue Silk clan had a rainy season where the rain would constantly fall. Sometimes it poured from the sky and moistened the earth. These rainy seasons would often last for half a year and then different seasons would follow, depending on the cultivation planet. The planet Wang Lin was comprehending on turned to winter after 7 months of rain. This winter after the rainy season was very moving. The earth was completely moist and then was instantly frozen by the snow. Walking on top of the frozen earth made you feel the coldness of the earth through your feet. Even your blood seemed to slow down and freeze. For mortals, this kind of season would be terrible, but the mortals of the Blue Silk clan had gotten used to this. With the help of the Blue Silk clan cultivators, after many years, it wasn't much of an hardship anymore. Even some food was harvested in this cold. The colder it was, the better the harvest would be. The snowflakes floated down the air and covered thousands of miles of land. It was very beautiful. The peak Wang Lin was on was also covered in snow. It was now a snowy mountain. However, the few black rocks that weren't yet covered showed what the mountain originally looked like as it waited for the winter to pass. The snow on the top of the mountain was very dense, and it was completely smooth without a single footprint. Wang Lin was still sitting there with his eyes closed and was covered in snow. The ice sword and the vortex sphere were still floating in the air. The snow couldn't get close, so it would move around them. After comprehending the heaven reversal stamp, Wang Lin stayed on top of the mountain for 4 more months. The second spell, Light and Shadow Shield, contained the power of light and was ethereal. Wang Lin continued to try to deduce it but couldn't find any clues. The scene of Dao Master Blue Dream using this spell replayed over and over in his mind. On this day, Wang Lin opened his tired eyes and stared at the snow that had gathered before him. He muttered, "There is also light in my sundered night and the law of origin. Except that light comes from the rising sun, and Dao Master Blue Dream's light has nothing to do with the law of origin. His light is gathered from all living things. What exactly is that light? Wang Lin spread out his divine sense as he pondered. His divine sense spread out with the mountain as the center. With his powerful divine sense, he seemed to split off into millions of different directions. He saw white mountains, the snow gathered on the earth, the frozen rivers, and the glacier floating on the sea. He saw mortal capitals and some mortals inside a house. They were around a fire, and he saw their warm life. He saw the beautiful foods of the rich royal families. He saw the cultivators of the Blue Silk clan and the beautiful music they played. He saw the snow that fell from the sky, the rare fishes under the frozen river, and the rare vegetation that grew on the frozen earth. He saw the endless starry sky through the hazy sky, the cold wind, and the glistening snow. He saw some trembling little beasts and the frozen corpses buried under the snow. He recorded everything as his mind gradually spread across the entire planet. He silently watched, silently observed, and silently became a part of the world until the winter slowly passed and the snow began to melt. After an unknown amount of time, Wang Lin saw light. While watching a mortal family of 3, he saw a very warm light. This light was very weak, as if it would extinguish with a mere breath of the wind, but it was real. Slowly, he saw more light. He then saw light from 2 lovers and he saw light from the body of a rich person. He even saw light coming from a dead skeleton. This light was filled with sadness, reluctance, and struggle. He also saw light from the little beasts. All life gave off this light. The mountains, rivers, seas, earth, sky, everything gave off this faint light. He was even able to faintly see this life from space. In his mind, everything on this cultivation planet contained this light. This light gradually spread like a spark in a prairie, filling Wang Lin's mind. He opened his eyes. The moment his eyes opened, all the light his divine sense saw gathered like crazy toward his body. The sky and earth emitted this light, the vegetation, mountains, and rivers shined non-stop. There were even starlight coming from space, and even the mountain Wang Lin was sitting on released light. This light came from all directions until Wang Lin was like a scorching sun. A giant shadow was formed by this light. This light and shadow were outside and Wang Lin was inside. There was enlightenment in his eyes, but they still contained a hint of confusion. Is it vitality? He lifted his hand and silently waved. The light and shadow disappeared and everything returned to normal. He still hadn't completely comprehended what this light was. It was as if there was a barrier preventing him from understanding what it was. If he couldn't break through this barrier, he would never be enlightened as to what it was. Wang Lin didn't know that this barrier was the door to the 3rd step. Very few people could feel this barrier, and even fewer were able to break through it in their lifetime. The 3 spells Dao Master Blue Dream had taught Wang Lin had their own profound meaning. When the light and shadow disappeared, Wang Lin's gaze fell on the ice and vortex ball that hadn't changed since Dao Master Blue Dream had left. Looking at these 2 items, Wang Lin let out a big breath. Of the 3 spells, this Dao spell was the only one left. His right hand reached out and the vortex ball flew into his hand. His eyes lit up and began observing it. This vortex ball was formed by Dao Master Blue Dream with the Dao spell. It combined Call the Wind and Summon the Rain into a more powerful spell that contained its own world. This fusion was the power of the Dao spell Dao Master Blue Dream wished to pass on to Wang Lin. As he carefully observed the small sphere between his fingers, the 5 essences gradually appeared in Wang Lin's eyes. The essences started rotating, then invisible gas came out of the sphere and entered Wang Lin's eyes. The sphere got smaller and smaller, and a few days later, the sphere completely dissipated. Wang Lin closed his eyes and began to comprehend. Dao spells were very different from spells. Whether it was normal spells or abilities, they could be clearly explained, be it attack or defense, and their effects could be observed. Like the Heaven Reversal Stamp and Light and Shadow Shield, they could all be seen. Dao spells were invisible and impossible to explain. Wang Lin had been exposed to a Dao spell for the first time in the 7-colored realm when he faced the old man. And he wasn't able to resist it at all. If not for the G realm and the heaven-defying bead, Wang Lin wouldn't have been able to resist. The second time he came into contact with a Dao spell was when he entered the Dao realm with the help of the Lord of the Sealed Realm. He had comprehended his own Dao spell, but it was difficult to explain this spell. Even though it was not complete, Wang Lin's Dao spell would cause a strange ripple that hurt the enemy without them knowing it. Outside the demon sect, he was able to injure the demon sect elder without that person realizing it. Right now, this was the third time he had come into contact with a Dao spell. His mind was immersed in a strange state in which he felt like he could change any spell into any shape or form. Compared to the two spells from before, this Dao spell didn't take too long for Wang Lin to comprehend. Dao spells were all like this: if you understand it, you understand it. If you don't, then even after 1,000 years, you won't understand it. With his eyes closed, Wang Lin's right hand reached out and the ice sword flew into his grasp. Although his eyes were closed, he could feel that what he was holding wasn't a sword, but clouds. As he comprehended it, cracking sounds echoed and large amounts of cracks appeared on its surface. A moment later, it shattered into ice crystals. The ice crystals circled around Wang Lin's right hand and then melted into drops of rain. Then the rain formed a vortex and rapidly rotated before turning into fog. The fog was like a small storm inside Wang Lin's right hand, and then it gradually disappeared. In its place there was a white cloud. Wang Lin held the white cloud in his hand and waved. The white cloud slowly ascended into the sky. Wang Lin opened his eyes and looked with a smile at the white cloud that flew into the distance. This spell can fuse spells. The first spell I need to fuse is spatial bending. Although that spell is powerful and enables me to instantly move across the endless space, it has a fatal flaw. Once the origin energy in the world has been disrupted, it can't be used. The woman in white is waiting outside the Blue Silk clan. Only by shaking her off completely can I do as I wish in the ancient star system. Then I'll absorb enough Joss flames to complete my 5 essences. The Fire Sparrow clan's fire and the Scatter Thunder clan's thunder will all be great sources of nutrients for me. The marks between the eyebrows of the people of the ancient star system are strange. They seem to be able to devour each other and constantly evolve toward a certain kind of perfection. What I want to know is what clan the scheming sovereign belongs to. Wang Lin's eyes lit up. The origin soul of that white-haired old man from the Moon clan was in his storage space. All the answers could be found there. This video will end here.